YouTube, go
Boom.
live.
Went live. Don't
Live?
live. Look at that.
We're doing it live?
We're doing it live. We found the button. We hit the button. It's back.
We've been looking for this button for what, like fucking 8 months or so?
We misplaced it for fucking 8 months. 8 fucking months. We didn't know what a button was. People asked what happened. We just fucking forgot how to YouTube.
They like changed the panel, you know?
They moved the button in the stream and some bullshit happened, and next thing you know, we ain't live.
How many hackers does it take to go live, you know?
Whole fucking lot, apparently. How many hackers have to bug Tom and Xavier to go live? That's the real question we're asking here.
There you go.
Old GME, man. I see. Hold the line, folks. Good luck with all that.
Hold the line.
You know, I appreciate as you mentioned this a little bit, I do appreciate we're not going to get onto the topic of all the bullshit going on with the stock market, but it's still the hacker mentality. It's the hacker spirit. It is the looking at the system, figuring out how it's gamed, and sometimes it's not necessarily gamed for you, and figure out how to beat people at the game. So you're still doing the hacker mentality. So I have a great appreciation for that. So yes,
hackers win. Red team always wins.
And red team sometimes shows where their vulnerabilities are, shows where there's the cracks in the system, and pokes the holes. That's still what's going on there. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Still fun stuff. But
very interesting to see how that has been playing out lately.
Yep. It's not my market, you know. It's something I'll watch it on the side there, stuff like that. I'm keeping my nose buried in technology. That's where where our passion is. That's what Xavier's been doing. You know, head down and
oh yeah, working.
Yep.
Working, studying. Same old same. If you are a fan of me, if you are a fan of the show, a supporter of me, then I'm around. I make plenty of content. It just may not be exactly like this.
Yeah.
But I'm around. I've just been studying, working, building a business. The business is growing. Yes. I am shamelessly plugging the business, enterpriseoffensivesecurity.com, until I get one of those cool shirts like Tom. They're on the way. Don't worry.
Got some cat shirts.
Yeah, what have you been up to, Tom?
You know, I got distracted today because I found a bug and filed a bug report in the way, if you follow my other channel, I talk a lot about storage servers, and I found a bug in the way encryption was handled for decrypting data that was replicated across storage servers, filed it. It's just some of the beauty of having the context. Actually, I reached out to the dev team because I'm in a private Slack channel with them. And I was like, hey, I just want to make sure I don't feel like an idiot and duplicate this. You seen this bug before? They're like, good catch, Tom. No, we have not. I was like, perfect. Here's your Jira ticket.
There you go.
So
Jira them up.
Yeah, Jira them up and, make it better for the community. It's how you find a bug, you report it, you articulate it well, you give your whole proof and everything else. I've encouraged a lot of people to do that because there's been a few really obscure bugs found lately. And, it's about building the community and being a participant in it. So other than that, man, same old, cranking out. Everyone know, if anyone follows me, you know what I've been doing. So content, teaching people, playing with the stonks. I see people talking about the diamond hands. Learn there is some great level of amusement to thinking that any of these hedge funds people had to Google what a fucking Redditor is. There's some dude on a yacht. What the fuck's a Reddit? The fuck's a diamond hand? What's a stonk? Right. These kids can't spell.
Right. Oh my god!
That Elon guy, he's fucking talking about it.
Elon has did it.
Someone shut that asshole up
quickly. I'm not gonna be able to pay my boat note.
Yeah. Gonna fucking lose my yacht over here. I only have two. Gonna be down to 2 yachts instead of 3.
We're down to 2 yachts. That's close to middle class.
I know. I don't want to get that close.
All right.
No one wants to get down with the peasants.
You my kids go to school. We have a reputation to keep. I don't want my kids going to school hearing about how their dad lost the yacht, one of the yachts.
Yeah, one of the yachts. Oh
God.
man. And we should intro ourselves, huh? Oh, well, that's right. In case there's actually people here that weren't here before. So Tom Lawrence, owner of the guy with the cats on the shirts, Lawrence Technologies.
Woot, 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 woot. And my name is Xavier D. Johnson, founder of Enterprise Offensive Security. We help you secure. And this is How They Got Hacked, episode 59.
59. Yeah.
59.
I like what Philip said there. He says, I'm 48 and I've been enjoying joy scrolling instead of doom scrolling. I'll admit, there's been a little bit of joy scrolling. When you watch a hedge fund manager lose $11 billion roughly dollars, there's a little joy scrolling going on. I'm like, yeah, fuck them. I'm laughing. The memes have been great. If anything else, I got good memes out of it.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yep. Who are you even? There we go.
Who am I? System. NT system.
Fuck yeah. We do have we'll address it, and me and Xavier were chatting about this because there's still more information coming out. Is obviously since the last episode, probably the single biggest thing that happened in the security industry is SolarWinds.
Was that FireEye? That FireEye got hacked, right?
Yeah, FireEye.
No. It wasn't FireEye.
It wasn't FireEye.
What was it? Sunkissed? What was it? Starburst?
Starburst, like some fruit chews or...
Or was it Sunburst?
Sunburst, that's where we go.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Sunburst. That's a pretty cool name. I like it. I like the fact that it's called Sunburst.
Sunspot, like Sunburst. There's a few other play on words of it. That's actually where me and Xavier were talking. Like we trying to restructure how we want to think about doing some stuff, and maybe we'll do a deep dive into it. There's so much that came out about it, but it's also their OPSEC was just so top notch. Like nobody does OPSEC like that. No infiltrator does it like that. Like it's not been seen before.
I mean, they down to the point where like the victims, they went and got doppelganger domain names. They went and got IP addresses and VPSs that were in the locale in which the people they have compromised. They went low and slow. That was very, very targeted and stealthy, and yeah.
So
it's from somewhere that's cold for sure.
Yeah, no self said. Do we see the NK targeting researchers reference our thumbnail?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Yes, I think that I am one of the researchers that have been targeted because I've been compiling all types of stuff and doing all types of things. But see me, I work in a Mac OS X environment and with VMs. So my VMs don't even get natted. So they're just like VMs that just don't even have network adapters. So hopefully that VM isn't somehow, some way compromised. Who knows? Because it won't get a Microsoft Defender update. So I won't even be able to tell you. But I'm almost positive that if you have recently went out and got a Visual Studio project from GitHub from Asian letters, it's over.
Yeah.
I do a lot of that. I've been researching SMB3 bugs, if anybody wants to know. So cheers to SMB3 RCEs. Hear ye, hear ye. Yep. You shall see it sooner than later. Watch. Trust me.
It's going to happen. There is no doubt about that.
I mean, the exploit is now out. The source code for the exploit is now out. So it's only a matter of time before it gets dropped in some kind of exploit kit and is a part of privilege escalation, just normal priv-es.
Yeah, it's going to be more and more fun, more stuff to patch. But yeah, we might do a deep dive into some of the SolarWinds stuff though, because it's really fascinating. And the other side of it that and you tell me this, Xavier, if you're not familiar exactly, but so the audience knows, the SolarWinds Orion platform is a monitoring tool for enterprise networks, and you throw all your switches and all your configs in it, and it monitors all your network connectivity. It also backs it all up for you too. So it's like your place of truth. If you lose a switch somewhere, you can pull the config out of Orion for it. Is my understanding of how it works. I'm not an Orion user, but think about this. If you had backdoor to all these company systems, where's the nuke button? where I don't just nuke it, I also held the backups and I nuked them too because I'm sitting in the spot where all that is. Think about that from an economic standpoint. They were in almost all the Fortune 1000 companies. That if they would have used it as a reset button, we wouldn't even be sitting here. I don't think the internet will work anymore. Like everyone would be like, configs are down.
My question is, what did they use it for?
That's where I think they had lawyers hanging out with them. Think about this. They only did it for a short period of time. Super targeted attacks. Directly government entities, indirectly places that worked or high value targets that work with government entities. Why would you do that? Well, if you're a military attacking another military, you're not targeting their general economic thing. That's kind of like a bad way to build some bad feelings. But you target the military because that's kind of like a safe target because, trust me, it may not be in the news, but our three-letter agencies are certainly infiltrating the governments of the other places. They'll never admit to it, but we know that's happening. We can accept that those packets are flying over our head right now, and they are at some cyber war at any given moment of espionage, but they're not targeting the small businesses in those areas that are not, they just happen to exist inside that particular government. They are targeting government targets. And that's kind of like that weird handshake governments have between each other of we will target your assets and I'll target your assets, and they're fair game. We accept that you will be knocking on the door of my assets that our government run that fight your assets, and that is just the accepted what goes on a daily basis. You're not targeting the smaller businesses and trying to extort them for money, except for unless you're the NK, because you need money.
Right, because you need money. And money is money, no matter
money
where it
is
comes
money.
from.
And this actor is not after money. This was all espionage top to bottom. It was high value, enriched targets of espionage. Now, where they went a little too far was, when you read their OPSEC, they were going through creating firewall rules. So when they started doing their scans, they would really go in and make as little noise as possible. They were so careful with their scanning, and they would go and disable security tools. They were using that tool called that it's like it's an event viewer tool that stomps out. It's called like Event Stomp or something like that. It's a tool to remodify the logs in Event Viewer, so that way they would remove them. And they were removing all the just quiet as can be. And FireEye, they did trip something. They did. That's what caught them. And if it wasn't for them tripping up FireEye, we wouldn't know. They would still be in all these institutions. They would still be all the places. We wouldn't know they were there. So that's crazy.
So imagine how many people are already in places as we speak.
Yep. And that's actually the bigger picture is, what do we not know? We just found out about this, and because they attacked FireEye, we were able to reverse. FireEye did a great job of disclosing and reversing, and it kept getting bigger and bigger until we found out all the places that they were, and now we're like,
what has Xavier been screaming since day one of this? Assume breach, defense in depth. And one of those two things could make the difference. And I would say assume breach. Even with defense in depth, the amount of controls that were in place, the way that these people moved inside of that environment, there was no amount of controls that could stop them. They were moving with system level access. Because of the way that SolarWinds operates, remember we talked about trust boundaries, right? That is literally a trust boundary for most organizations. Hey, if I want to be able to keep up with my config for my switches, for my routers, if I want to keep an eye on my network and monitor my network, I'm going to need to give this level of access to SolarWinds so that it can be able to actually go and read the data that it needs. Right. So you can't really practice defense in depth when you're giving, you can't even practice principle least privilege with this tool. Right. So the other thing is assume breach. You're assumed that you've been breached. But at what point do you say, hey, my code signing cert has been compromised? And if you are rolling it, maybe you're only rolling it 4 times a year. That's quite often to be rolling code signing certificates. Even then, they would have gotten in there and did the same thing, because from what we understand, they had about 5 months. From what we know, they had about 5 months in these environments. So, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
A lot to unpack, and Good news is Microsoft even had posted they work under an assumed breach model. And so when they had seen the source code, Microsoft also said source code viewing is part of internal culture. They consider they can't release their source code to the general public, but internally they do allow accounts to have read-only access to it. So one account was found at Microsoft that had read-only access, and they monitor, they fully log whatever user does. So they did watch this user exhibit unusual behavior and did view source code, but they shut it down. They actually can rewind everything that user did. They actually have a proper monitoring chain, which is actually something not a lot of companies do. If you were asked to rewind everywhere a user went, that's not necessarily easy. Not every company does that.
Nope. Yeah.
I did get to talk to my friend works for a security company that they are able to go back 6 months through every IP log through their firewall. They keep that level of retention, and they're big. I was shocked that they were able to do it. I'm like, that's got to be a fuck ton of data. He goes, yes, it is. That's how when they heard about the SolarWinds thing, they are an Orion user. They were able to isolate what versions they had, when they downloaded it, the IP addresses. He had all the logs. It was really cool. They turned out not to be a target, but it was still interesting from them. They still wiped everything. Nice. They went and followed procedure. It's tough. Nice. There are companies out there that do good OPSEC. I love when I hear those stories from companies that did it right.
Oh yeah, there is a way to do it right.
But the fun ones are the ones that do it wrong.
right. And speaking of those kind of companies, did you hear about the Sonic Wall thing?
Oh, Sonic Wall. What was the name of it again?
Visual Door.
Visual Door. I mean,
yeah, that's a pretty funny one.
I did laugh though, because I posted this on Twitter and someone said, well, it is a remote access VPN. And it's not discriminatory about who it lets remotely access. So
right. So Visual Door, Sonic Wall SSL VPN exploit. Tom, I think you're the one who told me about this, right?
Yep.
Didn't they get pwned with their own dog food?
Yep. And my favorite headline was Sonic Wall chokes on all known dog food. And right here is the too long, didn't read, Sonic Wall Virtual Office SSL VPN product ships with a fucking ancient version of Bash shell. I love he put it right in the write-up. And therefore vulnerable to unauthenticated remote code issued as nobody. As you can just be a nobody. I mean, he breaks down the trivial nature of it, but that's that right there. I'm just like, really, guys, really. And this person points out this is a Phineas Fisher bug and everything else.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is a pretty interesting. I mean, let's be honest. There's not much here. Like they use the old version of Bash and it's vulnerable to shell shock. That's it. There you go. That's how they got hacked. See you guys next week.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing. How did they make it this long before someone noticed? I mean. Yeah,
it's pretty impressive. I mean, this is why bug bounties work, right? Mm-hmm. Because in reality, you need to have more eyes.
And if I'm not mistaken, they do have a bug bounty program. And there was a good, I can't remember the girl, she came up with the bug bounty program. She's pretty famous for her name eludes me at the moment, but she's been on a rant on some of the podcasts because she's been complaining because the bug bounty programs have been ways to wrap up security researchers in NDAs because they're like, here's your money, here's your NDA, shut up, we'll fix it when we get around to it. And they're like, this really should be fixed. Hey, you got paid, shut up. That NDA says you can't do it till we fix it. And some security researchers are getting mad because they're going, this exploit's been around now for like 6 months, longer. The companies are delaying fixing it. And it becomes this weird new market that we didn't expect to see where the 0 days reported, they paid for it, but they don't fix it because it's hard to fix. So
10 days.
Yeah.
I've been talking about this. I mean, I've worked in product companies, so I see it firsthand. Right? Like some of these vulnerabilities take a year plus to fix. Some of them are ingrained in the kernel or in the core of the products.
Katie Mazoris, that's it. No self, thanks. But yeah, she was on a podcast talking about it. This is a little while ago, and I think they're getting better about it because it's almost like now you need another party to audit to make sure this stuff has gone through. I mean, cool that you're paying. We've got at least one problem. You're paying people, not arresting them. I'm not complaining. We have made progress. We are dramatic progress.
We're moving the needle. We're moving the needle.
Yeah, moving the needle, but this is just the iterations we're going to have of security, and we have to do it because, at least the Sonic Wall thing was noisy enough that Sonic Wall shut down and made announcements. They seen it and things like that. But the SolarWinds had some flaws, obviously, that allowed it, and it wasn't quiet. And then the backward question you roll backwards was: someone complained? Did someone know about this beforehand? What happened? So yeah.
We were asked, do we have a super chat? We don't. We should, though. I thought that we had the ability just to flip the switch for a super chat, huh?
I thought so too. I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean, we're monetized, but
yeah, I thought it came with monetization. I didn't know we have to turn it on.
I mean, you guys are watching ads whenever you're seeing this, so hopefully you can super chat us. We'd love to see some super chats.
Yeah, I don't see anywhere. I'm looking to see if it's a setting I can turn on, but
right? I don't remember ever.
I thought it just came on. It's been so long. Like I had my channel monetized so many years ago. I just don't know. So
yeah,
but whatever.
Welcome back, says Cherry. We're happy to be back. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see some familiar faces.
Yes.
Sup, Autos? Sup, California? Sup, Avenged by Cherry? What's happening, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
How's everybody doing?
It is good. We love seeing all these people join us.
Barry Phillips in here. I loved it. Kane, what's happening, Kane? Yeah, man, I love to see it. And all the new faces, first time listeners, first time, last time. Welcome. You get to see me drink on a Friday night.
That's one downside about when we were doing it Saturday mornings. I'm not a big drinker in the morning.
Mimosas.
Yeah.
But you know what I like to read? You know what I like to read when I'm drinking? The DFIR report.
This is a nice site.
Yeah. This is an amazing site to let you know TrickBot is still working. Coin miners are still happening. Defender still getting turned off. Yeah, it's a pretty cool site.
Yeah, they break down, click on any of them, and they do a pretty good job of walking you through a lot of the steps. It's the differ report.
Doots. Something happened.
Mm-hmm.
Something is upset right now. When I click that button, all hell broke loose.
Whoops.
You
break it.
Probably.
That happens. Can't share screens no more.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, we can try. Yeah, let's see if you can you see that?
Yeah.
Doing its dance? Is it doing its dance for you too?
What the hell is that doing?
Yeah. So the Korean hackers clearly have Mac OS exploits and are watching live over breakfast like, oh, you think we don't have control, do you? 1 second. Yeah, let's just kill this Firefox because that's the only way that's gonna. Yep, we're just gonna. There we go. Sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties. It's fun.
Yeah, someone mentioned was an O-Day and Defender. I gotta admit, Microsoft's been no self I think said it, but yeah, the definitely they've really leveled up on Defender.
They did. They have definitely leveled up on Defender. Defender is awesome. I tell people all the time, Defender is not a bad platform.
They stepped the game up a lot on it.
Big time. So on my YouTube, I'm frozen.
Oh.
But let's see, that could just be.
I know mine it's working.
I'm moving around now.
Okay.
All right, I'm good. As long as we're good. Yeah. 1 second. Let me see if I can get this to share again. Am I lagging? I feel like I'm lagging like crazy.
Not at all.
Never.
No.
On my end, I am.
Weird.
Yeah.
It says our stream's good. Excellent connection.
All right.
All that for a coin miner. That actually looks kind of fun.
Right? Like now I gotta like go back and click it again.
See if it happens again.
Right? Nope. Doesn't. Boo. Cannot replicate. Only happens on your end.
Yep. Bug closed.
Bug closed, right? Oh boy. Anywho, yeah, pretty cool site. They kind of break down exactly what happens, in some of these attacks. Threat actors exploiting, WebLogic RCEs to actually break down, to actually execute, what looks like to be a PowerShell command that goes out and just, yeah, goes out and downloads more PowerShell to actually execute.
Nice.
Yeah, and
1.ps1.
basically looks like it goes out and grabs XMR, XMRig, exe, and then that just starts to mine, just starts to mine on the host. That's basically it. So yeah, this site just has a whole bunch of real intrusions. So that you, as you DFIR nerds out there, like to go and dig into some different cases and things that you can learn about. It's there for you.
Yeah, they give you nice breakdowns, walkthroughs, and everything else. They're pretty detailed. And I think they're a donation site. Like I believe they don't have ads. They ask that you throw a couple dollars at them to keep it there. I started following them on Twitter. They're fairly new. They only been around for maybe 6 months, a little longer, at least that I'm aware of. What else do we got? What else happened?
Hold on 1 second. I gotta pull back up that screen with all of the fun stuffs on it. So remember Apple?
I heard
Remember
of
that
them.
company? The one that's ruining my life right now with this computer running like crap. So they patched a bunch of 0 days, which I'm assuming um were actively exploited, right? Let me see. Can I share my screen?
Did they break it again?
No, it's just a little angry today. So anyway, Apple patches 3 actively exploited 0 days. Emergency iOS update. Oh wow. So yeah, Tuesday, Apple went ahead and dropped iOS 14.4. Looks like there's a kernel bug and 2 WebKit bugs. So they were actually allowing remote attackers to do RCE. And yeah,
So,
iPhone 6s and later, iPad Air 2 and later, iPad Mini 4 and later, iPad Touch 7 and later, which I think 7 is the last one. So yeah, looks like espionage seems to be the worry here. But we always love to hear about uh, you know iPhone attacks and
so that
iOS 0 days because they're so rare.
Yeah, they are, except for that. And this was not something in the wild, but pretty wild to watch. That Google researcher that did the zero touch attack with iPhone, it's all been fixed and it was never vulnerable. He specifically sought out the bug on a hunch and an idea, and it took some crazy level of engineering, but he was able to basically from a remote location, no touch, take over iPhones over, I think it was all over Wi-Fi. Really clever.
Wow.
It's all been patched, and he worked with Apple to completely patch it because he wanted to he made a video, and it was just funny because he set up all these bears. I remember he had a bunch of like stuffed animals. He set up all holding iPhones and showed how he can hack them from the other room. He just made it really worth watching.
Good content. That's how you get them.
Mm-hmm.
Good old content. Infinite
Infinite
logins. What's
logins.
happening, bro?
Nice.
What's going on? Yeah, that's a pretty interesting story. I always love the iPhone bugs. That's just me because I'm an iPhone user, and I used to always be like, "Oh, Apple can't get hacked. iPhones can't get hacked," and it's just fun to see it. Like this problem set is one that is for advanced users and advanced attackers only. So to be able to see it come to life is just it's always nice. And as we see, it's always nation state. It's not like just some easy thing to pull off at scale. Like it takes a nation still to pull off large scale iOS attacks.
Yeah, and that's one thing about them. A lot of these phone attacks are not arbitrary. They are definitely either a combination of chaining threats together. They are using a whole chain of things just to make that happen, and it's really it is a high skill set on there. It's actually a little bit of an ode to the phone companies doing a good job to think that they're making a device that, well, offers as many features as this phone does, while at the same time having a reasonable amount of security. That is not easy.
Right. Yeah, it is definitely not easy. That is one way to put it.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for it. I wouldn't want that job. That's definitely a hard job. It's a moving target. You got a lot of different things to worry about on that front.
So someone said, after my Google experience today, am I switching to iPhone? The answer is no. I'm going to probably do a video about this because screw Google on this whole thing, but my approach is going to be a little bit different. One of the things that I will say that is hats off to Google on this, although they made it very difficult for me and still have not resolved my insurance phone issue. One thing they did prove is, and someone else even commented on this on in a Reddit forum, that if they decide you're not you, fucking they do not ever let you access that phone again. So hacking a phone, like to hijack it through, because we already know this is a problem at all the major phone companies. Hey, my name is Xavier. No, it's not. Are you sure? I'm going to yell at you and talk to your manager. I guess your name's Xavier. What do you need? Can you reset the phone for me? All right. Can you retext the authorization to a different phone number? Only if you yell at me. They've proved that over and over again, you know, that you can.
Only if you yell at me.
Yeah, socially engineering is just a matter of getting angry on the phone at these people. They're so customer service oriented because they got beat in their head that they will bypass security protocols. It's constantly a problem getting people's phones hijacked. Google, Jesus, proving you are you, and I have all the proof is hard, really hard. And it's, man, someone had commented that someone else paid their bill with a credit card with a different name. It tripped Google's fraud alert and they locked the whole fucking account on it. It took like an act of God to get Google, and they owned the phone and had all the proof. They just let someone else put their credit card with a different name on the account to pay a bill. And Google said, that's scary. That seems like a fraud problem. Whoops.
Oh, wow.
I like
the rave lights came on.
Rave lights came on. Fancy toy. So the fancy toy, so you can do this.
Nice.
And,
that's the is that the Dasney?
Yeah, is that what it says?
That's called. Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah,
I've seen those.
They're actually pretty nice.
You can change like the temperature and everything.
Yep.
Have you reverse engineered it yet to see what the radio protocol is?
It's some cheap one. It's actually very easily interfered. It's not complex. It's short range. You can hack it and turn my lights on all the time. Matter of fact, that's actually, you notice how one light went crazy, the other one didn't. Once in a while, one of the lights just goes nuts. So I actually power it off on a power strip.
Tesla.
So
Tesla's like shooting a signal, like oh, I need to like see what's through the building, and it's like fucking with your lights.
Yeah. So yeah, someone said Google wants bone marrow to verify who you fucking are. They just about do. They make you go through some hoops for verification. What I did learn is I'm not going to have insurance through Google anymore because it's a waste of fucking time. Not everybody knows this. You can actually get insurance on your phone through your homeowner's policy, and they just consider it a special device category. You can do it on your laptop and everything else too, but you can usually get an electronics policy. So if you do crack a phone or whatever, you can replace it, and Google doesn't care. You just tell Google what the new number is, and that's all you got to do. So that's my problem with them is actually the fact that they wouldn't replace a device that I do pay for insurance on. So for those of you that didn't see me ranting on Twitter and on Reddit or in the video upcoming because they still haven't solved the problem. Which is probably, I'm just going to go buy another phone instead of replacing it. It's $50 deposit for the phone, and a new phone's $120. I'm now 2 hours into it on principle, and at some point, I'm just going to give up because I can just go buy a phone for $129 and solve the fucking problem, or I can find a used one for probably less.
Right.
Anyways, we're way off topic. There's something that got hacked somewhere because it wasn't Google.
Yeah. No, I think it was Citrix this time. Did you hear about that one?
Citrix, it's been a while, man. Which Citrix one are we talking about? They're kind of.
This was from a while ago, right?
Oh yeah.
So this was from hackers sitting in their system for up to 5 months and stealing their employee data.
Yep. This is one of the first stories we covered. This is episode 1 or 2 of how they got hacked.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes, you are right. If you are OG, we are circling back around, and now you see how long it takes for some of this stuff to pan out. As you can see, Citrix employees, up to 24,000 of them, um, will be settled in return for Citrix providing 2.275 million fund usable for credit monitoring, ID theft recovery, and up to 15,000 in reimbursement for expenses and loss per claimer.
And right there where it
Yep.
says March 2019, if anyone remembers back on episode 1, we were kind of joking. It's never a good day when the FBI calls you like, "Hey, we found your data everywhere
On the internet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we found your customer data. Just letting you know. Your employee data. Just letting you know. So yes,
We picked
pretty
up a
interesting.
customer
It
like
says
that.
while not confirmed, the FBI has advised that they use password spraying, not brute force spraying, right? And so, yeah, that is always fun when it's more targeted like that. But yeah, roughly 5 months between 18 and 19, intermediate access was gained. Again, password spraying. It looks like PII, social security number, passport numbers, health insurance, etc. So a hearing is set over Zoom. Hopefully, they're having better Zoom luck than me. I would have gotten a failure to appear. I was just going to show up to court like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. That's 2 years it takes to kind of flush all that out. You know, what's kind of fun now is if we dig around, because now that it's all settled, all the court documents will eventually end up public. So this is where places like the Differ Report or even us, you can go back through court documents and do it. You know, it's kind of cool because someone, like in the midst of December when the SolarWinds hack was escalating in the very first week of January, one of the things that someone had was tagging Jackery Resider from the Darknet Diaries in, and they wanted him to cover it, and he's like, no. He goes, I cover stuff when all the details shake out, and he actually had talked about that on Twitter. And he's like, yeah. He goes, it takes a long time, and he goes, I can do my podcast because I'm reading from court records. People are now not going to be in trouble for talking about it because it's long enough ago that whatever, they can talk now.
Statute of limitations.
Yeah, statutes of limitations on if they didn't disclose something, maybe they can talk more about that now. Or even one of the interviews he did was with a retired FBI agent that was on a project that happened that they did, but they're now left, they're retired. So now they're like, oh yeah, I can talk about shit happened 15 years ago. And that's how a lot of this information comes out. And that's what I say about SolarWinds. There might be a point we learn some of the how they got in, but it's not going to be until years later in some court documents, especially the scale and scope at which it happened. It's just it's a really slow burn. It's like you can only do it from these slow public investigations. Because right now, since this happened, pretty much 3-letter agencies, they got residents at SolarWinds. They just live there now. They're part of the staff. They're having coffee in the morning just with all the programmers. They sit next to each person writing code now. They're not ready to talk about all that yet.
There's no fun in that. Nobody wants to show up to work to have a Fed at their desk.
No one really wants Fed. It's got to be awkward.
No one wants to show up to work and have fucking ransomware either. Yeah.
No.
Remember I was telling you about how I was working with insurers and legal people and helping people decrypt ransomware, decrypt their different environments from active ransomware, threats. And I couldn't really talk too much about it, but that was just kind of like a part of my life at that time. Well, remember how I was so strongly rallying against paying these people using insurance? Well, there's a reason, because I do strongly believe that we are funding, these ransomware gangs, yep. Right? We're actually giving them the money that they need to survive. And so, it's interesting to see this article come out because BBC, of course, they cover this, and they claim that insurers are defending the covering of ransomware payments. And that just, I have a gripe with it, right? Because while I believe, as this states, that firms could face financial ruin without that coverage, we have to start to accept responsibility for the current state of where we are with regard to security, right? So it's not that how do I put it? It's not that I don't feel like these companies shouldn't be able to continue to do business. I just think that us paying ransomware gangs is not the answer. There has to be
Right.
somewhere in between those two.
We
So it
recently
just the
No, to say we recently did a little bit of something like this where I was really happy with the outcome of the consulting I brought in to do because they did do insurance, but they didn't pay the ransomware. The insurance claim was to help revamp their IT to protect it, make it more resilient, et cetera, as opposed to paying the ransomware. Matter of fact, the ransomware people kept negotiating down and they're like, nope, we're just buying new servers, new equipment. So they did do the claim, but you're right. You're funding organized crime right there. That's the challenge.
and then while the official advice is not to pay the demand, it's not illegal to do so in the UK. So it's like, as an insurer, I feel for them because they're like, yo, I just want to get people back online. But it's just getting interesting. So this is the need for insurers to actually insurance agencies to actually step up and say, hey, if you're going to have insurance from us, then you're going to need to have some kind of regular cadence for cybersecurity. Period. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts.
Mm-hmm. The security side is really hard. That's a big piece of it too. So it is hard. It's hard to get the budget approval for those of you fighting in the trenches, fighting with management, going, for me, I'm in a slightly different position because we do things like we turn down those customers if they don't want to do it right and things like that. A lot of times they'll turn us down because they're like, you cost a lot of money. I don't want to do any of those things. Well, I don't know what to tell you then.
Right. You don't want to be awesome?
They don't want to be awesome?
Shit.
What? You want to be on the news? Is that what I heard you say?
Right. You want to be in the news? Oh man, I just checked my activity monitor on my Mac, and Zoom is using 89.9% of my processor. Mind you, I have an i9.
Weird. Zoom don't like.
Eight
What are you
core.
doing using a Mac? Use Linux, man.
Yeah, no. Sorry. It was like I couldn't go get business credit for a Linux machine. There's your problem right there. Like, give me a company like System 76 that'll accept something other than like a Klarna. Like, I need something that's business credit, not go use my personal credit. I need to build some business credit. So I was like, shit, what better than to get a MacBook? There's no better way to build credit. There you go. Everybody got my secret now. That's how I build my credit.
Yep. Buy MacBooks.
Company tools on it.
Fun times. What else we got?
Yes, sir. What else do we have here? Let's see. Oh man, did you hear about the? So I mean, we all work in enterprise, right?
Yeah.
Well, most of us.
Sometimes.
Did you hear about this botnet that's out and about? Give me 1 second. It's called Dream Bus. Have you heard about that?
No.
So Dream Bus, what makes it unique is, so usually botnets are like these things that go out and scrape the internet and brute force things and actually find like weak services and credentials to be able to take advantage of systems, right? So what these attackers are doing that makes them unique is they're actually targeting enterprise applications that run on Linux servers, specifically Linux servers. So some attacker is connecting to your Linux box that's running Apache Spark or Console or Salt Stack, SSH, whatever, and it's connecting to it over toward compromising it and then dropping a miner, which then goes out and mines Monero because Monero is the most private crypto coin, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is just really crazy. It looks like they're really looking for default administrator usernames and passwords, and they use DOH for command and control. And remember, I told you that was like bleeding edge, and that was the way that all of the new payloads would work. And I
Yep.
was working with the Golang DOH remote reverse shell and remote code execution. So I love DOH. It's really, really cool. I know you got a couple of videos on it too, right?
Yep, and the NSA, for those of you that aren't to know, the NSA just said you guys really got to watch this DOH problem, and the NSA did which I thought was weird that the NSA did a release on that. Now
There
we
you
know
go.
why.
So now you know. I mean,
Because they did this just
DOH
before this
capable
got
malware
dropped.
is very rare and it is complex to set up, meaning they probably went to Tom's farm to debug. Oh boy. Let me not say that before they come ask Tom for the logs. I need all the logs between now and then. I was like, no way, man. I'm a no log provider.
No logs, man.
No
Change
logs.
that my hacker name. No logs.
Oh man. Oh my god, did you hear about this asshole that works for ADT?
Oh yeah. I can't.
Oh, this dude is a fucking creep.
Oh, he even said it was for his own kicks, dude. This is.
Yeah, this dude is sick. So for all of you that aren't up to speed, it is an interesting time when ADT techs, the people that are supposed to be installing the security to your house, are putting these cameras into the homes and spying on women
This is
using it.
just
Yes,
creepy.
spying on women. So a former ADT employee pled guilty of accessing customers' cameras so he could spy on them. And what happened was that this dude is now facing up to 5 years for this. He accessed roughly 200 accounts more than 9,600 times without consent for over a 4.5 year period. And the way that he did this wasn't taking advantage of any 0 days in ADT. What he did was simple social engineering. While he was setting up these accounts, he will go ahead and add his own email address to the customer's ADT Pulse account so that he could watch those women in real time without them knowing.
Dude, just creepy, man. Just go on
Watching couples engaged in sexual activity for his own sexual gratification. They're going to beat the shit out of him in jail.
Yeah, he's just
Dude.
creepy. Creepy.
Oh man. So yeah, when I saw this, I was like, it's kind of dark, but I gotta make people aware that, like, your Comcast Xfinity, while what Time Warner Tech may be installing a hacked router into your environment, right? Like, you don't know that supply chain. You just don't know.
And I don't really understand as much, like the whole installing cameras inside private areas of my house. Like, I don't really need a bathroom camera or a bedroom camera.
Nope.
Like, that just doesn't,
Nope.
especially a cloud connected one.
This is people getting sold on the fact that if someone breaks into their home, they're going to have footage of the guy running off with the stuff.
Right.
Which won't really matter because, like, I'm still going to have that, but I'm just going to get the back of the dude's head as he's driving, like as he's running out the front door. At the end of the day, they're never going to catch these people. You just want it for insurance purposes anyway. There's no reason to have a camera pointing at your bed, because what happens in your bed?
Things that well, maybe you do want a camera, but maybe not for ADT.
Hey, I don't yuck at anyone's yum, but I'm not an on-camera kind of guy. That's just me.
Yeah. And you have the choice. ADT did not get the ADT sold his people on put a camera in your bedroom consent. And yeah.
Oh man. Anyway. Yeah. So speaking of consent, and this is our last story for the day, actually. So you ready?
Yep.
Something that we always knew: how people get hacked. The number one and most fun way for hackers to get things is fucking Google. Yes,
Google dorking.
Google searches are exposing stolen corporate credentials. Unfortunately, I'm guilty of this. I love to go into the deep, dark parts of the clear web and look at these cool intelligence tools that allows me to be able to type Tom's email address in and get his passwords from 1996, right? That's just kind of like one of my hobbies. And it's funny to see that now we have people that are just doing this outside of just like for hobby. Like, this has become a threat and this has become a technique, right? And so, yeah, this it's pretty interesting. Basically, long story short, they set up a phishing campaign, and they were supposed to go through and filter and steal email addresses, emails, and all types of stuff and credentials. But what happened is that these guys actually went ahead and after the HTML file would launch, JavaScript code would fire off. Code would go and actually check for password, take that password information, just drop it over into drop zone, right? And this is the way that most of these spyware types of things work, right? So in the event that you are affected by a stealer or a spyware, it's going to grab all of these things out of your out of your browser, out of your keys, your keyboard, etc., and then go and push that over to maybe like an FTP server or an SFTP server. And what happened is these folks actually left credentials that they stolen exposed to the public internet across dozens of drop zone servers used by the attackers. So even just with a simple Google search, if you know what you're looking for, you're able to see all of this data that they have been stealing. Crazy, right?
So I keep track of maybe a few GitHubs. If you spend a few minutes on GitHub and type in Google Dorks, there's some great collections. And it's all kinds of fun ways you can expose this through Google. It's amazing because Google it's kind of in some ways as intelligent as it is. It's also just crawling around indexing stuff, including treasure troves of credentials and things like that. So,
oh yeah, long story short, the attackers sometimes have bad operational security. Sometimes they mishandle your secrets in their environment and leak them to the world. So you don't only have to worry about your actual service providers, you also have to worry about the attackers making a mistake and leaking your secrets out. Congratulations. 2021.
It's just a mess. Just a mess.
But that's all we got for you.
All we got.
And that was a really crazy one. I'll be honest. We hit you over the head with a bunch of good stuff here. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself.
Yes. We'll be back. We're working on cadence and a schedule to do more. Content creation's fun, but it takes time. It's, sitting in here, the pre-show, me and Xavier putting together some ideas, sitting down and talking all this stuff. And it's hard to get two people's schedules lined up when we're both busy business owners too.
Oh yeah. And getting pulled in multiple directions.
So yeah, especially when we're sitting down, finding bugs, filing bugs, doing our job, doing all the things, making the world better. Somehow Xavier finds the time to teach and do DC 313 and MISEC and
oh my god, dude! This week I not only did I teach, I did the DC 313 thing. I did a webinar with Blue Mirror. I feel like I'm missing one. I'm missing one other thing that I did, and I did this. So like I love doing content, and it's fun. It's just a lot. It is a lot. I'll be honest. So, but this is always relaxing. Like me and Tom like catch up and just talk. Like we almost didn't go live because
we just start talking.
We're supposed to go live at 5, and we just start talking. Dude, we always do it. You guys don't realize like it's just so easy to sit here and just an hour just flies by just chatting.
Yeah, but some of the stuff we talk about is I mean, it's safe enough to talk about on Zoom. When it's not, we flip over to a more encrypted chat. Because sometimes we have to have a conversation about something that really happened.
Right.
So, well, it's great seeing everyone here. Thank you, everyone who showed up. We will, once again, as we always say, we're always doing our best. We do care about the community. We like putting this content out there. It's just a matter of lining it all up. But we do thank you for still having faith in us and showing up and all that fun stuff. So,
yeah, thank you for coming tonight, and we appreciate you. It's been fun. It's been a blast.
Yep.
Until next time, we will see you on the flip side.
All right, guys. Out.
Peace.